Well, a very good evening. Welcome back to Nove Mesto. We're waiting for the second and final race of the day. And a little earlier on, Eric Perrault showed us exactly how it should be done. A win in the men's mass start means that he takes the yellow bib from Tommaso Giacomel. An unbelievable weekend for Perrault, of course, winning the short individual on Thursday. Well, it's women's mass start, the race over 2.5 or 12.5k, 2.5 kilometre loops, 5 times round, 5 times up that big climb as they work their way out of the stadium. It is a tough, tough race.
It's been a busy time, Patrick, hasn't it? Since the Christmas break, 9th of January, and this is the 9th race since the 9th of January. Very busy 17 days.
Well, there are the World Cup standings. Chomino has opened up a very healthy lead. What is she? 192 points clear. It's almost looking as though she's got it in the bag, Mike. But provided she doesn't miss a round of the World Cup, I think Suvi Minkkinen, the best she can hope for is second place. But what a battle we have for second. Minkkinen, Schurk-Eider, the Urbergs are in there as well, and Anna Magnusson, who was so good early on in the season.
I love this camera shot. You can just see the post ring, as it's called, there on the foresight, and the beautiful steadiness, as always, of Chomino's rifle. That is so steady. They should be in the bullseye.
Yeah, she's been on very, very good form of late, and it's going to be tough to beat today. I know Brézard Boucher got the better of her in the individual, but probably virtue of the fact that Brézard Boucher started exactly a minute behind Jean Monod. I think had the starting orders, the starting positions been reversed, I think the result would have been reversed as well.
I think you're right, but I thought Brézard Boucher was really disciplined, you know, with the knowledge, probably, maybe they didn't tell her, that her final 5 really meant so much, and in the end, just to win by, what, a couple of seconds. Minkkinen, lovely grouping there, so she's had some warm-up shots, and now the central group there. The sights probably need clicked up or lifted up by 6-8 millimeters. That wasn't what I saw. But sometimes the coaches know the athletes so well, you can maybe give a, not falsifying, but you need good psychology going in. But I would have lifted those sights up a couple.
Minkkinen needs a good race today just to build her confidence. And here is Dorothea Viera now announcing this morning that this is going to be her last ever World Cup. She is, of course, heading to the Olympics, but she will not resume her journey on the World Cup after that. She said 99.999% certain, just to keep us in the lurch. But what a career it's been, Mike. She's been, you know, one of the biggest characters on the tour, and immensely, immensely successful, maybe diluted by the fact that she's been going for so long. But when you look at the stats, it's absolutely astonishing what she's achieved. She has really the only athlete that's brought Italy forward. Let's have a look at her stats. And it all started way back in 2009, her first World Cup. 433 starts, 17 individual wins. She's had 7 relay wins as well, and 53 podiums, which says a lot. Of course, twice she's won the overall in 2019 and 2020. 7 times she's finished in the top 5 of the World Cup rankings at the end of the season. That takes some doing, and to add to that, plenty of major medals as well. 4 World Championship titles, the World Championships in Antolz itself, obviously the highlight of her career, let's say so far. Maybe she'll be able to repeat that when it comes to the Olympics. And then those 3 Olympic bronze medals. The only thing, Mike, missing from her resume and, of course, her trophy cabinet is an Olympic gold.
Wouldn't it be an amazing way to end her career? And it wouldn't surprise me. She showed such courage at the World Championships in Antholz, 4 years ago, and coping with the pressure, all the press interest back then. It's replaying that. And she's as good as she is now as she was 4 years ago when she managed to win a title there at the World Championships at home.
Yeah, and if I say the best athlete in the women's tour never to win an Olympic gold, any name?
Whoa, let me think.
You've got to go to Sweden. I'll give you a clue. It's got to be Magdalena Forsberg.
She always underperformed, didn't she? Expectations so high, she always underperformed at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wonder what Vera can do. 3 bronze, as we mentioned. What else can we tell you about her career? She really, Mike, I think the most interesting thing about her is not the results. It's the fact that she was the one that started shooting fast, and as soon as she started to hit the targets in 20 seconds, everyone else thought, well, we're going to have to give it a go.
Yeah, that's so true. And they took a number of years because she'd built it in from the age of 7. She just thought, see it, take it. And, you know, in the way she does, she just laughs, oh, I see it, you take it, no problem. She was so carefree, and it took years for the rest to catch up.
Well, welcome if you've just joined us, waiting for the start of the women's mass start, the last race of the weekend. It's a very late start. Normally, the final race of the weekend finishes at 3 o'clock to let all the athletes get the bags packed and head to the airport or get in the transport heading to wherever they're going. I'm interested to see, Mike, we had the biggest crowd of the season earlier on for the men's mass start. I wonder how many have said, I've got a flight to catch from Prague.
Well, definitely the Scandinavians, there were plenty of them, I'm sure. Well, they would have known the programme, so maybe it's a party night tonight and then the early flight tomorrow out of Prague.
Yeah, I'm not sure they would have done it by choice, to be honest, and they're not trying to maximise the number of bed nights in the local accommodation. It's because the Ski Jumping World Championships has been on. Some of you may have been watching that. And no one likes to clash with the ski flying World Championships, I should say. When you've got a chance of watching guys fly over 200 metres, it has to be done. And so we have got a late start. There's also been plenty of cross-country on today. One surprise, one inevitable, I guess you could say, in terms of their results.
Yes, I think it was a big surprise. Martin Talo, she's been there and thereabouts and on the podium before, but that was a surprise. So good news for the Finns coming into form prior to the Olympics.
Now, is Vittozzi going to mirror Jacamel's performance this morning, or is she going to find her way and find the targets? Having been so full of confidence just a week ago, Mike, after Ruhpolding, Italy have had a little bit of a shake this week.
You know, biathlon and even your biathlon performance. Look at Jacamel, immaculate shooting recently, and on a day-to-day basis, he's missing targets. So one of his 4 times into the range today, that was missing 3 again out of 5 standing, and it happened so quickly. I hope today that Vittozzi, I hope she slows it down a little, but I think we'll see an 18 out of 20 at least today.
What are you expecting from Brézard Boucher? One brilliant race, which she won, the short individual, and then a disaster in the mixed relay.
Yeah, I think she'll be good today. She did look so controlled, slowed the shooting down, and you know, I think she's now switched the brain on to being calm and forgetting about the attacking. Her skiing has slowed down, so she's more focused on the shooting now. It's weird how that works subconsciously.
Yeah, I beg to disagree. I think the issue comes in the head-to-heads where there's so much more. The psychological pressure is so much greater. Relays, the mass start, the pursuits. On the individual, you're pretty much doing your own thing.
It is a race entirely in your own mind space. Nobody affects you. You're not trying to pack. I mean, the recent evidence says she was very good in Annecy, where she normally struggles with pressure, missing only 1 out of 20 in the mass start there. She can switch it on more these days in terms of her perfect shooting.
Yeah. Well, just half an hour ago, virtually none of those seats were occupied. So they've stayed around. The beer tent has done good business. and we are just about ready to go with the women's 12.5 kilometre mass start. The course, the profile, Mike, really what we're interested in.
It's fairly easy out from the start, then it dropped down under the tunnel, but look at the climb up to the first of the cameras, and I think the theme is undulations. Good recovery back down under the road here, but then you climb back up prior to quite a flat entrance into the range. And I think the pace will be slow first time round, for the women.
Yeah, and that little step up into the arena, that's sort of 20-25 seconds, so it's enough to make you uncomfortable.
It is, and it takes you further 30 seconds to recover. You have to keep your pace firm up that rise towards the range, but then you've only got 30 seconds, 25 before you shoot, so it's managing your pace in the stadium on this flat section.
Yeah. Got a little glimpse of the American team. That's Remenova of Slovakia. And the USA already having a good day. They're nowhere near the top of the leaderboard. Top 25 in the World Cup rankings if they're here. We have 16 of the top 25 present. There are quite a few big names missing, decided to go for altitude training instead. And then after 16, it's all about their performances this week. So effectively, we have the on-form athletes, and some of them way down the rankings in the World Cup, as you can see from that graphic.
It's been a great opportunity, hasn't it? Many big names, as you mentioned, missing for the short individual race, and allowing many smaller nations to come in.
And look who do you see who just scraped in? Yeah, you were just going to mention her, Tandrevold.
Yeah, I think she's very lucky to scrape in. She was, fourth reserve, but she's on the list.
Yeah, twice World Championship silver medal for Tandrevold in the mass start. So that's why it's so surprising to see her down there. She did it in Pachuca in 21, did it again in Oberhof in 23. Let's have a look at those at the front. Plasheshkova, she is going to get some support, and it was really emotional when she finished in that the short individual.
She did so well, held her nerve. Yep, total emotion. First World Cup race.
Vittozzi looking fairly calm and cool. 9th place in the World Cup standings. Not going to challenge for the overall this year. Camille Benet, what a transition this year. She's been on the IBU Cup since 2017 and got her first shout in the World Cup at the end of last year in Oslo. Breza Boucher, well, you know all about her. She's the Olympic champion. She was the world champion in this discipline in 24, and she did that here in this stadium. Are we going to see a double from Breza Boucher? Remember, she got the single individual 2 days ago. Anna Magnusson still sitting in 5th place in the overall World Cup rankings. 30-year-old from PTO, which is right at the north end of the Gulf of Bothnia. It is cold up there. Suvi Minkinen, lives near Kontiolahti, and Minkinen, another athlete who has gone up 5-6 levels over the last 2 years. From 42nd in 24, she's now number 2 in the World Cup rankings. And Lou Jean-Monod, well, she is on electric form, and I guess, do you think she's had a word with Eric Perrault, Mike?
I think so. You know, they're very similar personalities. They're very calm individuals, but they can hit targets.
30 athletes, and the advantage going for the better ranked athletes. 3 on each row. Jean-Monod, Minkinen, Magnusson up the front. So here we go. I'm not quite sure what all that music was about. I think it got going a little bit early. There was almost silence in the crowd, just building the atmosphere before they get underway. The men's race stuck together for the first 2K of their 3K loop. Mike, are you predicting the same sort of approach?
Yes, I think so. It's going to be a test, of course, for everybody. And I wonder if Vera will really try and take this victory. It would bring her up to 18 wins alongside Kuzmina, the only other current athlete with such a high score.
Yeah. Vera, you might be able to pick out the technique. Third in the right-hand column. And Vittozzi just to the left and just behind her. Vera wearing 7 and Vittozzi wearing bib number 6. There's only, 14 points between them in the World Cup, Mike. They've had a real ding-dong battle to be Italy's #1 this year. Switching and changing. At the moment, it is Vittozzi who was just marginally ahead.
Yes, and Vera, ranked 7th, you mentioned, obviously not going for the overall world title, and it probably is too far ahead for her, too many points to pull back in.
Yeah, I think it was all about the Olympics this year for her. I wonder whether Jacquemelle started thinking it was about the Olympics. He's just had the yellow bib robbed by Eric Perrault this afternoon. And Jacquemelle needs to find his form again. 3 rounds of the World Cup to come after the Olympic Games, incidentally. And a Magnussen setting the pace. Jean Monod happy to tuck in behind her. You do not get a lot of slipstream behind Magnussen, though.
No, you don't. She is definitely in stature. She's the smallest, but she's very accurate. And I think her shooting's coming back up again after a little dip.
Michelon looks relaxed. Brésil Boucher over on the far side looks relaxed. Benet is there as well. Julia Simon wearing bib number 10. What's she done? Yeah, she's on that right-hand column, moving along nicely. Vera's quite a way back at the moment. But this is all about trying to get to the first shoot with as little jostling as possible, keeping your pulse rate totally under control and not panicking. 24 is Plashashkova. It is a bit of a tongue twister.
It is. I struggled. I'm pleased you're struggling as well. I'm surprised to see Magnussen out front. Jean Monod clearly not wanting to take any of that responsibility yet, but she probably plans to take that responsibility later.
Yeah, but she did the same in the short individual, Mike. Started steady, got faster and faster and faster, and then was just 1 second short of the win.
Yes, she did. She and but Jean Monod can play around now. She knows she can go faster. She can just dictate how she feels and when she wants to break free, or at least attempt to.
Yeah, Magnussen setting a decent pace. It's strung them out big time as they drop back down through the tunnel, and now they already have to start thinking about shoot number 1. Over the years, Mike, they've changed the course quite a lot. They used to go up through the woods. There was a long climb that then led into a downhill into the range, but the length of the climb really did put you in an uncomfortable position.
It did, and I like this fast. It is quite fast with the right-hander at the bottom, having done a lot of hard work from going under the tunnel. That's allowing you some recoveries for the second climb, huge climb.
Yeah, and the trees are not only big, but they're quite close to the track. So you want to stay on. I'm trying to think of the worst incidents. Was it Sochi where they were shooting off the track? I think it was Sochi where they had a few injuries.
It was awful. Pre-Olympics, wasn't it? They had to redesign the track with a number of injuries. We have seen athletes go off the track here and down the banking, many years ago, though, before they adjusted the safety aspect of the track.
Well, it looks like the first 20 all squeezed within 10 seconds. Tandrevold's gone from 30 up into 21, so putting in quite a lot of effort on this first lap. Temperature starting to drop. It was 2 degrees this morning for the men's race. When we opened up our coverage for the women's race, it was still at 2 degrees, but it's starting to sound, Mike, as if it's glazing over.
I would think so, as the sun, there wasn't much sun. In fact, there hasn't been any today, but as it's become darker, it will be dropping down. It seems, I'm just wondering, is it actually faster than when the men raced? It probably is faster snow.
Yeah, the track's looking reasonable condition. Don't complain about the weather. The World Championships in 24, it was appalling. How they got the whole programme completed, I do not know. but there was a lot of salt used and a lot of sleep lost.
Very similar to the men's race, Patrick. 12 seconds separating the top 30. It really is just a single file, though.
Yeah. Now, without even seeing the bib numbers, you know that the front is Brézard-Boucher, Jean Monod in second. Just the way they ski. I love that skate 3 action from Brézard-Boucher. So relaxed. Well, the fans are here, and it looks as though not a single one has decided to go home early. 23,900 was the official count for this morning, and for the men's race, which started at 1 o'clock? So, chute number 1, 2 prone chutes, then into the stand. And Jean Monod, Preutz, Benet, the 3 most accurate so far this year. A flash from Minkinen already. Every red flash is 150 extra meters. Simon has gone clear and fast. Vera Mike shooting fast but missing 1. Vittozzi shooting fast and hitting 5. So she'll be up amongst the leaders as they come out.
Unfortunately, Dorothea Vera, she's missed the last shot. I was really hoping she'd get all 5 and then be out in first position, rapid fire.
Well, there you have it. Vittozzi, good start from her. If it doesn't go right for Vittozzi, Mike, what would you expect to happen? Do you think it's the standing shoot? She missed 2 out of 10 in the individual.
Yes, she seems to, in the last couple of races, lost her confidence a little. I was hoping that she'd get those 5 just to build it back. I don't know, she didn't in the relay. Remember, she used, 2 and then 3 spare rounds yesterday.
Yeah, but in route holding, and I know it's a very different range, in route holding, she missed 3 in the prone and hit 10 out of 10 in the stand.
Impressive.
Just patient shooting from Jean Monod. No rush, and she won't turn on the afterburners until she gets to chute number 3, I wouldn't have thought.
I love these slow-mo pictures, Patrick, when you're jumping out with almost 2 meter.
So Lisa Vittozzi looking comfortable up the front. The French are still there in numbers. They're in 2, 3 and 4. Julie Simon has gone well. Nice start again from Oceane Michelon, who's sitting in second place. And Michelon, World Championship silver medalist from last year, finishing behind Elvira Erberg. Benet in 8th. So what do we got? 5 French in the top 8. They're dominating in women's biathlon like the Norwegian men are in cross country. They have 7 of the top 8 positions this morning. Certainly got the top 4. So a leading group of 4, and certainly a slightly stiffer pace than we saw on the first lap.
The women, Patrick, of course, first time in, better than the men. it was 14 men shots the first 5 targets down. 14 out of the 30 athletes in the women's field, 13 have managed to take the first 5 shots.
And we ended up with 3 clear shoots in the men's. Women generally have a slightly better performance on the range, and that's partly due to the fact that just about every race, apart from the relays, Mike, the shooting is more important in a women's race by half a percentage point or so than in any of the men's.
That is true, but you know, we have seen in terms of shooting speeds, yes, the men generally, or there are more men that try this faster shooting routine, but many of the women, Vittozzi, Vera, led it, as you mentioned earlier, from when she first hit the World Cup, and many, we've maybe got 12 in the women's field that will risk taking the first shot in 12 seconds. Yeah. But Jean Monod definitely backed off there first time in, playing safe.
Julie Simon is one of them. Vittozzi and Vera, you know about. What about Franzi Preutz? What do you think we'll see from her in terms of the shooting?
I think she's annoyed. She wants herself to get to the top of the field again. Of course, she did that. She's been on the podium, but I think she'll be on 20 out of 20 today. It's a big and bold statement when probably only 2 or 3 will clear all the targets.
Switzerland will be... Sorry, I was just going to say that, you know, Switzerland and Haki Gross, she's really turned it around this week. She's not in that lead group. She's not far off, only 10 to 12 seconds behind. But she's going well, and Gasparin has raised her game as well this week.
Yes, all round. Baserga as well, and we've got Nettler in there. 4. We don't often see 4 Swiss athletes in the mass start.
Yeah. Deidre Owen of USA is having a decent race. She's up in the top 11 at the moment, having gone clear. Plashashkova of Czechia hit 5. She got a decent applause. Now, keep an eye on Plashashkova. What's her Christian name? Ilona. Yeah, keep an eye on her target. She is wearing bib number 24 because she is the one that the crowd are going to be watching when she comes in for a second shoot. She's only a young athlete, so if she can hit 5, that will lift the roof if there were one.
Yes, a lot of pressure when you're racing with, 23,000 spectators today, and what a dedicated spectator background we have in the pictures there. It's quite incredible, late on a Sunday night.
Yeah, I think you can round it up. 23,958 I've got. So let's call it 24,000, which is by far and away the biggest crowd of the season so far. Back into the prone position, and again you see Jean Monod, Preutz's and Benet's record for the season. Absolutely astonishing. Preutz hasn't raced as much as the others, to be honest. So Jean Monod, well, I was just going to say, taking her time to make sure, and she's gone and thrown that first one wide. So a penalty loop for her. Simon doesn't take advantage, and now Michelon might get her chance. No, she misses one. She knew they'd missed on the right and the left. I think probably distracted. Is Hauser going to clear 5? No, she can't hit the last one either. It's like they've shrunk the final target. Benet does it. She's going out in first place and maybe heading to her first ever victory. Gasparin, wow, brilliant from the Swiss athlete.
That's it, but Gasparin, delighted for Gasparin. She needs some success. Benet is a machine. She barely misses targets.
Well, she's not got a huge lead, but she has 150 metres less in her legs than those chasing her, Mike. But she's got a couple of speedsters behind her. Vittozzi, Simon, Michelon, Gasparin, Jean Monod back in 6th. A penalty loop, and she's only 10 seconds off the leaders.
Yes, Benet was quite late coming in there, 9 seconds into the range behind Jean Monod. Jean Monod was very slow again in terms of her shooting, but it didn't pay off.
Yeah, and we've still only got 13 out. Deidre Owen has missed 1. Tandrevold way off the pace for Norway, having missed 2. I think she missed 2 on the first shoot. She did, and it's generally the stand that gives her problems. These are the form athletes at the moment. Brilliant situation. Jean Monod is the one who has the aura at the moment. I think that she'll be the one they're concerned about.
Interesting. Simon, Vittozzi, they went for the fast shooting option. Yes, they only missed 1 each, but was that too high a risk?
Each and every one of them. Every one of them having a double look at the target just to make sure they know how many loops to do. Well, pretty much even Stevens between the front six. Vittozzi has closed the gap. Jean is a lot closer than she was. She was 10 seconds back. She's probably at about 10 metres at the moment. I think she'll join that group. What about those behind? I think we got Hauser and Richard in that little group behind. And Dorothea Vera, last time we saw, was at 23 seconds.
Disappointed for Breza Boucher. She really led those who missed one target into the second range. She wasn't far behind the leaders, but she missed two further targets with that mega increased pace on the second lap.
Yeah, if you're going to put a percentage on it, you miss on the first loop, you miss one on the first shoot. How much does that damage your chances of hitting all the targets on the second, assuming that you try and play catch-up?
Yes, and it is the catch-up. You know, generally in your biathlon, you're at a pace that you can survive at, but those who are chasing are going over that survival pace that you would normally accept, and it really does increase the risk. The men, earlier we saw, 3 out of 5 getting away with it first time, but then it bites you the next time as well.
Yeah. Vera's not quite out of it. She's missed twice already. She's going to have to shoot 10 out of 10 in the stand, and she's going to have to shoot as fast as she's ever done if she's going to win here today on her final ever World Cup. 23 seconds the margin behind. Number 22, Aita Gasparin for Switzerland. Nice to see her come to form. The Swiss haven't really seen much from them since the build-up to the Lenzerheide World Championships last year. And really, Amy Basurga's been the only one producing anything this season.
Yes, at the moment, of course, Gasparin, one of only 3. I don't think we've ever said it before. 3 athletes at half distance have managed to hit all 10 targets. The rest, it's 1, 2, or 3 penalties. I think the wind did change as the leaders came in. I thought there was a switch around of the wind. There didn't seem any sight adjustments. Not huge change, but it had an influence.
Yeah, after the last shoot, we had 5 French in the top 8, so none of them dropping away. Breza Boucher is at the back end. Wow, the French, they have a tough job. Who's going to be in that relay team?
It's almost impossible to take any risk. Would you put Benet, who shoots amazingly well but skis a little slower? I think I would. I think I would go for the safety, especially in Antholz with the increased altitude. You need to be a very calm and accurate shooter there.
Well, I think if Benet gets a top 5 today, that might seal her selection. Jean Monod is certainly going to be in. I think Simon will be in anyway, Mike. The question mark is Breza Boucher. Do you gamble that she'll be on a good day or a bad day?
That's so, well, when we discussed it earlier, I thought she'd brought the confidence back in, but no, missing 3 at half distance, not great. And I hope she can stabilise herself again for the next shots to come.
But we did also say it takes 1 bad race to destroy your confidence, and it takes 2 weeks of good racing to get it back. And Breza Boucher has not had that at any stage this season. So it's Vittozzi of Italy holding off the French Armada, and then who else? Well, it's all France there, isn't it? It is. 4 French in the top 5. Vittozzi. Wow, what a difficult situation for her, but if she stays first, she'll be on lane 1. She won't have to pay any attention. What she doesn't want, Mike, is to be in the middle of them on the range, I would have thought.
Yes, maybe. Well, it looks like she's setting the stall out early. She wants to lead into, is it a tailwind now? I think it is a tailwind coming off this rise and then along the straight before you turn right into the range. Many big names have missed targets. Minkinen, amazed that she's missed 2 already. Magnussen's missed 2. Dorothea Vera, that was first time in, she missed 2.
Yeah, we got 10 seconds back to that second group. And if we get the aerial shot that we usually get, we should be able to see the difference between the 2 groups. Vittozzi working harder than the others on the basis that she is taking the win down the back straight. But on the other hand, she is going at her pace. She knows what is comfortable. Remember, we're coming in for the first of the standing shoots. and Vittozzi and Simon generally are the two quickest. Jean Monod has played it pretty safe so far. Number 13, that is Jean Richard, had a really good relay in the single mix, so things are looking up for her. But is it too late to gain favour before the Olympic Games? The penultimate shoot of the weekend.
I love the way Benet just calmly looks down the range all the way from half distance, just looking at her target. So disciplined, so strong in her mind.
Well, there's not a lot to see with the flags in the first 5 lanes. There is a bit of a breeze down the far end, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are fairly well protected. Simon is the first to strike. Vittozzi takes a while, but then she's on the roll. 1, 2, 3, down goes 4 and 5. So the top 3 go clear. Jean Monod has to wait, but she clears 5. And astonishing. Amazing. At the pace they were skiing, for five to go with 5, that is unheard of at this level.
Oh, that puts pressure on the chasers. They will not believe that so many cleared at the sharp end of the race.
Yeah, Magnusson has kept her chances alive of getting into the top 3. Gasperin having the race of her season, maybe even the race of her career. Klemencic of Slovenia hits 5. Steiner of Austria, she'd love to get ahead of Hauser, stay ahead of Hauser. Deidre Irwin, Mike, another 5 for the American, and I think she's been somewhat inspired by Campbell Wright earlier on today.
Probably has been. Sad to see Dorothea Vieira again on the penalty loop. 1 lap, 1 penalty this time, so that's a total of 3.
Yeah, Vieira 17 seconds behind. She didn't lose much on that last loop, but I think she's having to push the pace to try and stay with it. Paki Gross at 17, only missing 1 so far. And now we still have 3, Mike, with the perfect score. So we might match the men's race.
That is impressive at this stage with the intensity. Benet did shoot quite slow compared to those around her.
Yeah, Julia Simon was the quickest on that last shoot. And the difference really was the time to the first shot. I think she was sub 10 seconds.
She's got her timing back, hasn't she, since she made her comeback, and the skiing seems to be coming back as well.
So 21 out of the range, 1 or 2 having troubles. Mettler of Switzerland's missed 3 so far. Skar of Norway, introduction to the World Cup. It's been a bit brutal for her, but I think we'll see better in the future. Tandrevold's worked her way up into 23rd position, but has missed 3 targets already. As for the leading 10, Mike, we've got 3 athletes who've missed 2. We've got 2 athletes who've missed none, and the rest have missed 1.
It's pretty good, and we've got Benet. You could see her in the middle background there. She left the range 7 seconds behind. She hasn't managed to pull anything back.
Yeah, Julia Simon looks to be breathing very, very heavily. She's certainly not in her prime form at the moment. Lisa Vittozzi, I think she's probably quite confident she can win a ski race if it turns into one on the last lap. And she is the one controlling the pace at the moment.
It feels like Vittozzi is getting her fastest skiing form back. What a lovely feeling that must be just prior to the Olympics. Magnusson, though, did set the fastest lap time on the previous lap.
The fans, not a huge amount to shout about at the moment. Bornikova down in 16. Plashashkova has gone to 23 now. But she does not have much experience, if any, of mass start racing. Probably it will have done some at IBU Cup, Mike, but I don't think it's quite the same, is it?
It's not the same, and especially when, as a youngster, she's got 24,000 spectators all desperate for her to hit.
Now the pace changes. They're not going to let Vittozzi have it all her own way. In that leading group of 5, Simon, Michelon, Vittozzi, Jean Monod, Benet, they are all there, and number number 5, that's Benet at the back. She hasn't done any penalty loops, and as you say, Mike, she skis just that little bit slower than the others.
She does. It seems to be getting better, you know, from so many years in the IBU Cup, if you like, second division. It's taken her time to realise how fast the World Cup is, and she is getting better. She is beginning to dig deeper, but she just played safe on the range, lost some 5 seconds there.
Well, after what we saw in that last shoot, someone's going to go clear, aren't they? This is tough for Benet, and she's going to have Magnussen breathing down her neck in a moment. This is another strong performance from Magnussen. We haven't seen one for a while, Mike, after that brilliant start to the season.
And it was back in Annecy, wasn't it, before Christmas, where Magnussen lost the magic through the rifle. She missed 4 on that occasion. Prior to that, she'd been incredibly stable in terms of her skiing pace and her accurate shooting.
Yeah, and remember, she just missed the podium 2 days ago in the short individual, finished 4. So signs that the form is coming back for her. Last little climb before they enter the arena.
Wouldn't you love to be a French coach, the French head coach now, admiring your athletes, performing so incredibly well, for 3 French athletes to be up at the front here alongside Vittozzi. Great spectacle.
Give us 3 aspects why you think the French are so good in women's biathlon.
I think it's the foundation of shooting through Jean-Paul Amott, you know, the Olympics, double, triple gold medalist in shooting. He's brought real intelligence and stability to the youngsters shooting, and then the speed is developed later. Get the shooting, get the targets down, develop the skiing later.
But the skiing is world class. You know, they're almost in a league of their own in terms of the ski speed.
Oh, it's quite phenomenal, and I think it is because there's so much the desire to make that team where you will win medals. If you're in the French top 4 in the relays, absolutely you'll be winning Olympic medals. It really feeds the juniors.
And if you're a good cross-country skier in France, you do biathlon. You don't do cross-country skiing. You know, you can hardly name any of the French women on the cross-country tour. So they're at a different level in biathlon, and that's what comes from success. And over the years, there have been plenty of champions. They could have one here tonight. Vittozzi is going back in lane 1. Jean Monod, the World Cup leader, in 2. Lane 3 is Oceane Michelon. And then we have Julia Simon, who struck first on that previous shoot. Hitching up at the race bid. Cost Vittozzi a couple of seconds. 2 down for Simon, 3, and she leads at the moment. Vittozzi is on the charge. She's going out at the same time. We've got a 3-way race, and Jean Monod joins it. My goodness, I thought the races in Ruhpolding were tight. This is going to be the best finish of the year so far. Has anyone got the strength to break away? Vittozzi has looked under control so far. Simon, in her prime, is the quickest athlete and has been over the last 3 years. Jean Monod, we know, is strong. I'm not sure I would like to be Oceane Michelon in that quartet.
I thought that was amazing. 4 athletes head to head, side by side, almost shot for shot, and they all hit. It's and very rare.
Vera Mike signs off her World Cup competition with a 5 out of 5. Not quite as quick as we've seen in the past, but another brilliant shoot from the Italian veteran. Hauser gets 5. She's back in the running for a top 10. Look at this, quite sensational. Remember, all 4 of them hit 5 out of 5 last time in. Vittozzi, Mike, 5 seconds it must have been before she got the first target down. 5 seconds longer than we saw from Julia Simon. Well, we're down to 3 already, looking for Jean Monod. Jean Monod came out. She was only a second and a half behind, but it looks as though she is struggling to stay with the pace. I guess, in a way, Mike, Jean Monod not quite as hungry as the others, having won so much this year already. Julia Simon, little switch of the technique there. Michelon looks fantastically comfortable at the moment.
She does.
The big climb is still to come. Someone may have decided this is where to go.
I'm a little surprised. Jean Monod, for me, must be struggling, Patrick. That brain of hers, that mind of hers, if she could be up there, she would be. But will the others pay for quite a fast exit out of the range? We'll see. Yeah, it could be a great day for Michelon.
Yeah, some way to go, some way to go. She has never won. She's been on the podium 3 times in her World Cup career. Is she going to do it today? Vittozzi tries to put in the pace, and it looks as though Julia Simon is now starting to struggle. Still no gain from Jean Monod. Vittozzi, who of course was the overall World Cup winner the year before she took a break, not last year, the year before, and then of course was off with a back injury all through last year. Well, that little burst of speed, Mike, it's certainly taken Jean Monod out of the equation.
I thought that Simon in 3rd place, I thought she's beginning to fade, and Jean Monod will feed off the body language where she knows full well that Simon is tired, but so is she.
Now, in previous years, Mike, my only criticism of biathlon is that we don't have enough ski races to the finish. It's nearly always decided on the range, but when they shoot as well as these women have done tonight, it was inevitable that we were going to have a fight. We are down to 3. What is the reason we've had so many tight races this year?
Oh, we have. I think so many have brought their level in terms of shooting pace up, the ski speed. Olympic year, you work harder, it makes you dig a little deeper. I thought Vittozzi was not playing the best game leading. Now she's in 3rd place. Are those skis slow?
I think they might be just a fraction slower. In the slipstream, you would have expected her to gain quite quickly. Now she goes on the outside. Julia Simon does a little stint at the front. Ahead of Michelon is Jean Monod trying to raise a game. The cadence has certainly gone up. Maybe she's paced this one to perfection. She knows as well as anyone that if you take the first half of a loop quick, you pay the price later on. And Jean Monod is not out of it quite yet.
I'm just thinking, we know from her winning statements, Vittozzi's always quite confident for a sprint, as long as she's placed well. At the moment, she certainly is.
Yeah, one big climb still to come. And Jean Monod, who was at 4 seconds, well, she's still at 4 seconds, so maybe just an optical illusion that she's getting closer. That camera shot shortening it. Number 5 is Camille Benet, another brilliant race from her, but Minkinen is still hunting. And Dorothea Vera, great recovery from Vera, Mike, despite the fact that she's done 3 penalty loops.
I think she's had an amazing race. To miss 2, Patrick, straight away, first time in, and then to get your mindset back to miss just 1 more. Vera's having a great race. In fact, she'll be one of the fastest on the track.
Here we go, 400 metres at the most to race. And Oceane Michelon, a little bit of free skating, an indication that the legs are still feeling good. She's got a metre or so over Vittozzi. Simon on the far side trying to close the gap, and now the 2 chasers get a little closer as they change into skate 1. Another 15 metres of climbing, and Michelon digs again. She's the only one in this trio who has never won a World Cup, and it's her teammate who goes ahead with 100 to go. Vittozzi has lost it. She's not going to raise the game from there. There's a little dip into the stadium. A chance still for Michelon if she can get in the slipstream of Simon. It is not going to happen. And Julia Simon, who's really struggled early season, had to miss a couple of races. She gets win number 16. Win number 16, and that, Mike, is her 5th mass start. She has it absolutely nailed. Michelon in 2nd place. Oh my goodness, Vittozzi has to settle for 3, and Jean Monod, the World Cup leader, down in 4. Hopefully we focus on those coming in. Camille Benet is going to make it 4 French in the top 5. What a night for them.
What an amazing night, and Simon, she'll be so happy. She's got her shooting is back with accuracy, with rapid fire. Her skiing is coming back just when it matters most. Benet, Patrick, I feel for her. She played the safe game to get all 20. She achieved that mission, but lost a lot of her time on the range. Minkinen, from a poor start, she's hungry for these World Cup points.
Yeah, 2 misses from Minkinen. She's the fastest of those to miss 2, and Vera is the fastest of those to miss 3. She will be furious. Just 58 seconds off. A classic Vera 20 out of 20 would have seen her in the fight for the win, but she would have needed a 50, 60 metre lead at the start of that last loop. Well done to Lisa Theresa Hauser. That will put her on a high before she heads to Antolz and the Olympics. 105 behind, having missed 2. And Amy Berserker, having been right at the back, comes through to be the best of the Swiss yet again. And Deidre Irwin, Mike, backs up Campbell Wright's podium finish earlier on today with a top 10 finish. Great news for America.
It is great news. It's great news for the mixed relay on the first day of the Olympics on the 8th of February. That American team is growing in confidence.
5 misses in the end for Brézard Boucher. Started badly, finished badly. 139 behind. That could be the relay slot that vanishes, Mike, and why it's so painful with the French, because it's so difficult to see anyone else winning the gold.
It is. Any other French athletes? Brézard Boucher, yes, I expected more from her today. She's down in 16.5 penalties.
But she did win the single, the short individual. It's been a perfect performance by the French.
I thought, you know, as they descended the final drop before the rise, I thought Michelon was going to attack and maybe break away, but Simon really had determination. Here's Richard, the 6th of the French athletes in this race.
So the French, Mike, they got a 1-2 in both of the short individual races. Of course, with Brézard Boucher and Perrault winning. Perrault wins again today in the mass start. Julia Simon, they've won 4 out of 4 of the individual races here in Nove Mesto.
Maybe that was an incredible race. The skill set, the risk factor, the rapid fire, they just had a sense of freedom there.
But you never really answered the question of why you think the races are so much closer. On the men's side, it's obvious because Johannes Tingesbø isn't racing anymore, and he used to blow the field apart. On the women's side, is that the change in waxing rules? Is that an issue?
That was 4 years ago. We did see a ripple from that issue then when fluorocarbons were banned, bad chemicals. We saw a ripple, I think, in the first 2 years. I think it partly, and it's often the French team that we are seeing at the front of the field, they're so determined to get their spots, partly so determined to get their spots, claim their races at the Olympics. But the field, overall, we've got Italy up there, we've got Austria up there today, the Swiss are coming back into form. Everybody's hungry for success, especially with the Olympics round the corner. Zuk, Polish athlete, won't be proud of her shooting. We can all have bad days, she missed 9.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra skiing. And number 26, Lehtinen from Finland. Suvi Minkkinen, incidentally, finished 20 places higher in 6th position. Pashashkova with 6 misses, 4:45 behind. Not quite the reception that she got at the end of the short individual race. But, she's done well this week. And now,
I think she's come into the big league, hasn't she, from IBU Cup racing, and great on day one, and a decent performance today.
how are they going to catch them? Very, very difficult. Totally dominant performance. Well done to Lisa Vittozzi. She's the only one that broke up the French team. And Italy, I think Vera's recovery, Mike, with those 3 misses, fantastic. And so nice to see her clear the last 5 targets of her final race.
I think it was a lovely way to end her, 17, 18 years at World Cup, and then she had 3 seasons as a junior prior to that. Great way to end it, get the last 5 shots rapid fire.
Yeah, and just in case you missed it earlier on, Dorothea Vera won 3 golds at Junior World Championships in this stadium back in 2011. That's really where we started to pay attention to what she could do. And then she never turned back after that, with European titles, of course, the overall World Cup wins, World Championship titles, yet to win an Olympic. And actually, Mike, with the recovery she showed today, if she hits 20 out of 20 in Antolz in the Olympic Games, a track she knows better than anyone, a range she knows better than anyone. It is possible.
It really is possible. I think she was maybe put a little caution to the wind first when she missed 2 out of 5 first time in. Then she slowed down just a little more coming into the range each of the next 3 times. And it was pretty good from there on in.
Yeah, Michelon did her best, but had to settle for second, which is where she was in the World Championships last year. What a finale. There are the results. 8 seconds separating the top 4. Camille Benet just lost the pace on that last loop, but the only one to shoot the perfect score. Is she going in the relay, or is it Brassard Boucher? Who knows? That's going to be a very interesting one to watch. Suvi Minkkinen, Mike, consistent again. A medal potential, I think, for 3 weeks' time.
Definitely, it was her prone that let her down, and she's normally 92% hit rate. Well, that's the season average. I was surprised to see her missing 2 out of 10 prone.
Yeah, Preutz likewise. 3 misses in total. 2 in the prone, 1 in the stand. Jean Richard 0-1-2-3. Oh, it's a disappointing shoot from her, and desperately needed another top result to secure the reserve seat. Bendika, was that 10 misses from Bendika? Not something that she'll be writing home about.
And Leitonen, did you see that? She missed 4 out of 5 first time in, way in last position, but then she only missed 1 further target in the next 15.
Well, that is it, rather than the lead, which he's been doing recently. Mike, although only one athlete shot clear, the shooting was sensational.
The shooting was quite incredible. Initially, there was a little wind issue to begin with on the first and second time in, and then it calmed down a little. Steiner actually from Austria.
Yeah, just seen that.
All 20 again as well.
Yeah, and Benet, of course, the other athlete that hit 20 out of 20. The leaders, the top 4, all hitting 19 out of 20, so they all had a taste of the penalty loop, and that must have made their hearts sink, thinking they were out of the race, but none of it. A 4-way fight on that last loop, won in the end by Julia Simon. I think that was just willpower from Julia Simon, Mike. I'm still not convinced she's in the sort of form, but she recovered, because at the end of the 4th lap, she looked really tired, looked pretty tired climbing out of the stadium on the last lap. Do you want to take us through the highlights?
Yes, it was quite. I thought the music leading into the start, the bell tolling, and then the action on the track. First time in, this was a mixed bag of shooting. Some of the big names, Vera missing the last shot. She was the first to release her first shot, but it didn't work out. And then very quickly, the cream floated to the top, and there they stayed for most of the race. Simon missed 1. Chomino at the same moment missed 1. Michelon as well. She waited for that last shot. It didn't work out. Preutz, this was her downfall. It looked good until she missed 2 on the second time in. Chomino looked weaker on the tracks than we've seen in recent times. And then the stand pressure was quite amazing.
This perhaps the shoot of the season so far. All 5 leaders hitting 5 out of 5 in quick time.
I don't think we've ever seen that before. The 5 coming in for third shoot side by side. 1 or 2 normally miss. Then the pressure, the real pressure shoot.
Yeah.
And again, all 5 got them all down. It was incredible.
Yeah, Vittozzi was the first to down the 5th target, having been, I think, about the last to hit the first target, and must have thought, that's my chance. But the French were also well centred on those targets, and Julia Simon in the end with the ski speed. It is definitely coming back, Mike. Remember, she missed the first round of the World Cup, so she's about a month, maybe 6 weeks behind the rest of those on the World Cup, but you could argue she's a little bit fresher. Chomino looked very, very tired. No fight from her on the last 2.5K.
It was worrying, and that's the end of World Cup for Dorothea Viera. I think Simon Patrick, she had some absolute desire today to impress the coaches. I want to be selected for the individual races as well as the relays. She made a statement there today.
Yeah, her first win of the season. She's been on the podium once before, a third place, but the first time she would have stood on the top of the podium for a fair while. Lou Jean Monod still comfortably ahead, loses a bit of ground, but not much really. Now is, in fact, she's even further ahead in terms of points because Minkinen wasn't ahead of her at the finish, and 202 points clear. We got 3 rounds of the World Cup still to go. What's that? 4, 5, 6, 7 individual races still to go this season. It's hard to see her giving away a lead like that. But having finished second in the last 2 seasons, if there's one person that it deserves the Crystal Globe, Mike, it's her.
She does, and I think it was quite predictable. You know, looking at her summer training, it was brilliant. She did spend some time in Germany with Preutz, who did win the yellow bib overall last year. Yes, Jean Monod, will she be worried about that slight drop-off in form? Normally she would be crisper on the skis. She certainly felt tired today.
So a brilliant day for the French, 4 in the top 5, and for the first time this year, Julia Simon is the one that came out on top. Here she is.
Julia, congratulations. It was just a crazy competition with an incredible final leg. What was your tactics there? How did it work for you?
I was just trying to shoot clean and survive on the track. Yeah, it was a tough battle. After the last, in the last downhill, it was very difficult. I was behind, and I said, okay, the win is just there, so let's go, push, 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 and we will see. And I'm really happy. It's a special place for me here. I love this place, the crowd, they are crazy, so that's perfect.
It's also not the first win for you this season, but also in the last competition before the Olympics. How important is it for you?
For me, it's just really important to have a good feeling on the mat behind my rifle, and just enjoy. I think it doesn't matter if it's the last one before the Olympic or not. I'm not I'm a best shape yet, so for me the most important thing it was to try to ski really calm and put the target down, and yeah, it was a perfect race today. I'm really happy.
It was really the perfect race, so enjoy it. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
It's not so often the winner of the last World Cup goes on to win the Olympic gold. She'll have a few options. I would have thought she's going to get an entry into each of the races, and she might, unless she decides she wants to sit out one of them. But if you do the sprint, you do the pursuit, and if you're doing well, you're going to do the mass start. And Julie Simon, I would have thought, would be in the running for the individual as well.
It feels that way. I mean, who do you leave out? Benet, sadly, she's just such an accurate, she's so reliable in terms of putting all the targets down. But big statement from Simon, I can put most of the targets down very fast.
Good race from Vittozzi, didn't add to a winning tally, but another podium for her. And Vittozzi is going to edge even further ahead. Where was she? Down in 9th place in the World Cup standings. Hopefully we'll get an update on all the standings before we go.
I think Cyril Bourdet, I saw him there, you know, he's played a big part in recent times bringing their ski speed up, the French team. He was the French sprint team in the cross country. He was their coach, and you know, so he's brought a little more speed and dynamic training in the summer months and on snow into their game.
Lucky number 7 for Vera at the start. And lucky number 7 at the end as well. Doesn't add to her list of victories. 17 wins in her career. 4 mass start victories, so it's a format that really suits her style and her personality. And the Italians, Mike, they don't have the issue the French have. We know Vittozzi will start every race. We know Simon will be there, health permitting. And we know Jacquemelle is going to race, and we know Hoffer is going to race. Their mixed relay looks fantastic on paper. And certainly the only other team that can contend with I'm not even going to put Norway in there because their women haven't been performing well enough, but they do have Schurkaida. I think France and Italy for that mixed relay title.
It's going to be so spicy, but will the Italians be able to hold back the feelings of pressure, the tension? You've got to be quite relaxed as a biathletes, but on home, it's most of them. That's where they were brought up in biathlon. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, a shame. Vera was 10 seconds out of appearing in the flower ceremony for this one. A little bit disappointing, no doubt, for the organisers. She's massively popular here.
I thought they might make an exception, make it 7 today, bring Vera into this special moment.
Well, she spent about half an hour doing selfies with the crowd yesterday, so that's probably where she is at the moment.
Yeah.
Ceny a gratulovat těm nejlepším budou viceprezident Mezinárodní biatlonové unie a prezident Českého biatlonu pan Jiří Hamza. Spolu s ním hejtman kraje Vysočina pan Martin Kukla. A také starosta Nového Města na Moravě pan Michal Šmarda. Congratulations on the third place to Italy. Vyhrála bronzový medal Italian Lisa Vittozzi.
Podium number 34 for Lisa Vittozzi. Still some way behind Dorothea Viera, who is over the 50 mark, but a much shorter career so far. Only her second podium of the season.
I think she'll be delighted, Patrick. The ski speed is back nearly to its best. She hasn't quite been there until this point for me. Each race now, from now on, well, it's the Olympics, she should feel more confident.
Yeah, actually the third podium for Vittozzi. She got that win in the pursuit in Hochfilzen. Oceane Michelon, a face for the future, I think, Mike, when Simon Brézard-Boucher, well, we know Brézard-Boucher is going to is 99% sure to finish at the end of this season, if not after the Olympic Games, and they have plenty of talent to fill her boots.
And today, Michelon hitting 19 out of 20. Normally she's 2 or 3 or even 4 penalties, so the shooting when it matters most is coming into form.
So Simon again shows that the mass start does not favour. Her 5th mass start victory, her 16th win on the World Cup, just one behind Dorothea Viera. And if you ever doubted it, she is going to be in the running for gold starting on the 8th of February. Well, credit to the French, Mike. They've had a lot of turmoil in the team over the last 2 years with various scandals and accusations. They seem to have got it together. I think at the beginning of the season we were thinking maybe this is going to be their demise, but none of it.
Normally it breaks a team, but it does seem to have made this team somehow within the storm that's gone on for the last couple of years.
So 4th place for Jean Monod, another 55 points gained. Camille Benet, one of only 2 to shoot the perfect score today. She is going to be dangerous when she develops another, 2.5% of ski speed, and it will come. Suvi Minkinen on the right, Her good form continues. Remember, outside the top 40 in the World Cup standings 2 years ago, up into 7th last year, and now still sitting in 2nd place, although now over 200 points behind Lou Jean-Monod, who stays in yellow. So a final cheer from an astonishing crowd here in Nove Mesto. Just shy of 24,000 people turning up today. And in total, they've sold over 81,000 tickets. Business is good. Wild times in the town last night. It looks as though a few of them haven't quite got over that. Well, thanks for your company. We'll see you in Cortina Milano for the Olympic Games, the 8th of February for the first of the biathlon races.